Yeah, and the biggest news of the weekend actually was Dak Prescott signing with the Dallas Cowboys long-term 4-year, $160 million contract, which I believe puts him at the third highest paid quarterback, right, Emma? Or is it second? Um,
Second now, right behind
second, okay,
Mahomes.
right behind Mahomes. For 160. And the news really here for me was I know that I especially was very hesitant, thinking like if I'm a Cowboys fan, I was hesitant to give Dak that long-term deal, mostly because I thought that it might hamstring the Cowboys and would sort of restrict who they could pay. And we saw like this season when, or the prior season actually, when the franchise tagged Dak Prescott, they lost a lot of guys to free agency. They lost to Byron Jones, who was balling out there in Miami now. They lost a Robert Quinn to the Chicago Bears, who I believe had a pretty solid season, but still he was like a double-digit sack guy for the Cowboys. They lost multiple impact players. And because of that, we saw the product on the field. The Cowboys throughout the whole season had easily a bottom five defense. And at one point, they were ranked as the worst defense in football history by like a large margin for like half the season. And I'm actually kind of shocked that my mentality has changed on this contract, actually, Amal. I think this is a good contract, and I think it's good for the next 2 years. And I think it's a very team friendly contract. So actually, I'll take back everything I said, not about Dak Prescott, the player, because I still don't believe Dak Prescott, the player, is a superstar quarterback who can carry a team. And that's the main reason why I was hesitant to pay Dak Prescott a boatload of money because I don't think Dak Prescott could carry a bad team like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Russell Wilson, like, I mean, I guess to a certain point, Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson was the only good thing about the Texans. It's just that the Texans were so bad that even he couldn't carry them. But he's not in that upper echelon group of quarterbacks, in my opinion. And that was why I was hesitant to pay Dak Prescott. But his first year, well, I think the biggest news of this contract, first of all, is that his signing bonus is the biggest signing bonus in I think NFL history, $66 million according to Spotrac.com. So that makes his earnings for this year $75 million per year. That's how much he's getting paid this year alone. And some sort of, I guess you could say, casuals would be like $77 million in 1 year. That's crazy. Like Mahomes is getting like 50 in 1 year. Like that's ridiculous. But obviously, you don't know how the cap works because the signing bonus doesn't really equate one on one to the actual cap hit that you're taking. So his cap hit this year is only going to be $22.2 million per year, which is really good for a player like Dak Prescott, and it's going to go up in future years. But right now, he's only taking about 10.6% of the cap space, and we know the science behind quarterbacks and like the percentage of cap space that they take and like the probability they win a Super Bowl. We've seen it. Tom Brady took a pay cut for his entire career, essentially. Lots of Super Bowls, lots of rookies who make up like 2%, 3% of the cap tops. They end up making the playoffs and making them the Super Bowl. Think Patrick Mahomes, Carson Wentz, plus Nick Foles, like those type of guys. Big Ben earlier in his career, Aaron Rodgers on his rookie deal, those type of guys. And I think having Dak Prescott around that 10% figure, at least for this year, makes your team really competitive in the near future. And his cap hit next year, 33.2 million per year, around 16%. Still like not extremely bad. I think still like I don't think any quarterback is worth paying more than $25 million, probably just a number off the top of my head, other than the top three, four, maybe five guys. So I would be hesitant to pay a guy that much money. But again, the market is changing. Every market breaking deal is because it's the next best quarterback. And it's not even like next best. It's sort of like the next good quarterback is going to get paid like they're great. And that's just a market value. I understand that. But I think early on this deal, the first 2 years, I think it's very team friendly. And I like that for the Cowboys. And I've got to give Jerry Jones credit because I think Jerry Jones has almost become a hated figure. And yeah, he does meddle a bit where he shouldn't, especially when it comes to hiring a competent head coach. Like he wants a yes man, and that's pretty evident. I mean, that's why he fired Jimmy Johnson back in the 90s because Jimmy Johnson was not his guy. Like he would not sort of sit down. And that's why Jason Garrett was hired. Yes, man. And now you have Mike McCarthy, who might also be a yes man on all. But I think overall, like this contract, he negotiated it pretty well. He did say Dak Prescott had all the leverage, which is true, which is why Dak Prescott got the second most money of any quarterback ever. But I think when it comes down to it, he did a pretty good job at least front loading or back loading this contract to the point where while you had talent on this team, you can compete. And I like what that did there for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm with you, Reeb. I think this was actually, in my opinion, like you said, great, great signing. Yeah, the money seems crazy, but like I think eventually it's gonna just keep on getting higher. Guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, those guys are just gonna get paid through the roof at this point. With when it comes to these type of contract and money and length, obviously. But I think is he overpaid? I think in terms of his talent, I think yes. I don't know if Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback, a top 10 quarterback, and we'll talk about that in our tier list. We'll see where he lands between both of our opinions. But I'm not necessarily too fond on that. But in terms of the aspect of the Cowboys securing a long term option for a quarterback, I think this was very important. Dak Prescott, there are some risks. He just came off a broken ankle, so the fact that he's still getting $160 million and he's getting 120 of it guaranteed is insane. And but I think great for Dak. Jerry Jones came out today and said that he wouldn't be willing to do this for anyone other than Dak. Kind of a cheesy statement. I think if you're that attached to someone, you're obviously going to be saying that. I mean, it's not it's pretty obvious in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, he's taking a big percent of the Dallas Cowboys cap space. But I think at the end of the day, it is going to be it is what it is, and they've had success with Dak, they've had failures with Dak, but they may believe not everything is Dak's fault, so they still see that high ceiling, and they decided to take the risk and go for it. And yeah,
I
those
think
are my thoughts on that.
Dak gives them a relevancy that they wouldn't otherwise have. Like if they had to restart with a whole another quarterback, I don't think Jerry Jones like I think people got to realize this. He's an old man. Like this
Yeah,
guy, I don't want to say he's gonna die soon, but like just the reality of life, he wants to see his team win another Super Bowl. And I think we talked about it with Big Ben signing a long term deal, or I guess not even a long term deal, signing a new contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how like it doesn't make sense long term, but this year the best quarterback who can win a Super Bowl for you, if you're the Steelers, other than a guy on the market who you're trading for, is Big Ben, like versus the rookie quarterbacks. Same thing here. The best thing for the Cowboys is to get a Dak Prescott, and I mean obviously they love him there. He's a leader. He's a galvanizing figure for that team, and also I just love it from Dak's perspective. This guy was paid, I have the number right here, $4.9 million per year. Not per year, $4.9 million within his first 4 years total, Amal. And he started 4 years as NFL quarterback for probably the most well-known franchise behind the Patriots, I'd say, though, in NFL history. So that's just remarkable that he's finally getting his money. This is a life-changing amount of money. And that picture of like his brother hugging him, he posted on Twitter. It was just like a heartwarming thing to see. But I've got to say one thing about this. And this is the reason why I don't think the Cowboys are going to make any successful playoff pushes. It's because I don't think they have the guy at head coach, Amal. And I think right now they're in a Super Bowl window the next 2 years where their Dak Prescott is not making, a crazy abnormal amount of money. Like he's not taking up later on in his career, his contract, he's taking up almost 20% of the cap space per year. He's not making that right now. His first year and his second year, he's not. And you're in a 2 year window where this is when you want to win a Super Bowl and make a Super Bowl run. And I've just got to ask the question, if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, you have the talent on the team. You have a talent at quarterback. I mean, Jerry Jones has been a pretty good drafter throughout his career. Do you have the right coaches to be the guys to lead these guys into battle? I don't think Mike McCarthy is. There were so many question marks going into it. And honestly, we talk about how like a coach like is really, really important for the first couple years of a quarterback's career. And I think a coach, it sort of translates to here where a coach is really important for your Super Bowl window. Like it's just how it is. And if you don't have a proper coach here for the Super Bowl window, pretty much you paid Dak a ton of money to give you stability, but other than stability, that's it. Like you're not making anything else. And like I said, Jerry Jones, this guy's a billionaire. Like money can only take you so far, and he wants to win a Super Bowl. I'm sure. Like if I'm Jerry Jones, I would value winning a Super Bowl way more than making any more money because my franchise is, a
He's
little bit
toward
more
he
successful.
realistic. I mean, honestly speaking, he's towards the end of his life
Yeah,
than
exactly.
than
It
the
makes no
beginning.
sense.
So
And it
yeah,
might be a bit gruesome and grim to say that, but it's just facts. Like
yeah, exactly.
at this point of his life, does he want to win a Super Bowl or does he want to make even more money? Like
I don't
this
think he
guy's a
cares.
he doesn't like why would he care? It makes no sense. And I think Jerry Jones has got to sit back. Uh, Obviously, we got to give it this year with Mike McCarthy, and they're not going to move on from him. But next year, they've got to sit back, and if it doesn't work out, they've got to really strongly consider moving on from Mike McCarthy, so they don't waste a second year of Dak's contract. Because after that, the first 2 years are really team friendly. After that, it's very much a Dak friendly contract and not a Cowboys friendly contract. And I know the cap is going to go up. They're going to sign some massive TV deals and the cap will go up and it'll make less of a hit. But still, like Dak's going to get paid 44 and $47 million per the last 2 years of his career, respectively. Like it's
That's
just
insane.
crazy, and I don't think you can win
Insane.
a Super Bowl that way. So, just some thoughts that Jerry Jones are going to have to think about, and Stephen Jones as well, his son, the GM there. They got to make sure they do some things there, and ask that question.
Definitely. I think it's bonkers in that aspect. We were never believers in Mike McCarthy. I mean, if Dak Prescott's like Aaron Rodgers and he can somehow deal with that nonsense and somehow win a Super Bowl with it, by all means go for it. But I mean, like we said since day one, we're not believers in Mike McCarthy. There's a reason that he got fired. I mean, the Packers have been succeeding every year. Obviously, they didn't succeed. They didn't make the playoffs one year because of Rodgers being hurt and the Bears defense being outstanding. That was, I believe, 2 3 years back. But I mean, Mike McCarthy's been he's been having winning seasons, but why would they fire him? It's because he hasn't really helped out the quarterback in any sense. And we will see how Dak Prescott goes with Mike McCarthy. I was not impressed at all by Mike McCarthy this past season, and neither were you.